Okay, I'm pretty sure that many of you know who I am. I'm Robert C. Dupree, and Lord bless me to be here still yet to enter into the year 2020, which is a wonderful thing here. And it's the Lord is good all the time, and all the time the Lord is good. And I still want to bring out, from my own personal experience and share. Unfortunately, a lot of the injustice and stuff that is still going on and involving this here thing. Everybody has a story to tell. And I feel and believe that the Lord wants my personal experience to be shared, with everyone. Because like I said, somebody is going through the same thing, and no doubt even worse. There's no doubt about that. Going through a lot of the worst of the injustice. And that's all the more why I tell any and everyone, you make sure you put your faith and trust in the Lord Jesus and not in the world system. But nevertheless, again, I believe that the Lord wants me to share my personal experience, and that I will until, he say different, and also still take legal action in this matter here against the injustice, how with General Mills involving, as well as the courts and a lot of the injustice and things, and all the other conspirators that's involved in this here, that they do not want to be made known out here. And I was blessed back here in, was that 2019, matter of fact, this the 16th of November, to even be able to have a public conversation with our new mayor, Quentin Lucis, and it was down here on the 18th in Vine. Down here, and it was a public setting, and he was asking individuals, about, the issues and things that take place in our cities and things that can make our community and our neighborhood even a lot better, which was excellent. And, he got around and asking me, of course, everybody was giving their views and things that could help better the situation in our community and so forth. And when he asked me, well, I shared my personal experience about, well, we know about the injustice and things that take place in our community, the crimes and the bullying and stuff in our neighborhoods or our schoolings or whichever it is. But then what about a lot of the injustice that take place behind the walls of the courts or behind the color of law? I also gave him some information concerning some of the flyers and things that I was putting out, as well as the courts is definitely aware of this as well. And I was also mentioning about, which is no more than my own personal experience, that is involving legalized slavery. Now, like I said earlier, about a lot of the crimes and things that take place out in our communities, and to address those issues, that's fine and well. But what about the crimes and things that take place behind the courts, behind the color of law, behind the issue of justice, or so-called? The thing of it is, I brought this to his attention, he listened, and, I just want to briefly share, and let you hear what he comment on that, and regarding to a lot of the issues of what his stand is on that. So I want the public to be able to hear clearly what was stated in this. And like I said, this was a public stating, and saying that he was addressing everyone concerning this matter. So let's hear and see what he has to say about this as well.
To answer your question, sir, on the justice system. So fortunately or unfortunately, we get a chance to impact here at the city, mainly the municipal court system. And frankly, there's more we can do with that too, to make sure folks get a fair day in court, make sure things are heard efficiently, and to make sure that they have good representation. Actually, the legal aid contract we were just talking about is part of that. How do we actually provide enough services to do that? Something else that I recently have introduced in the area of housing is making sure that we have more legal counsel for folks that are dealing with evictions, for folks that are dealing with housing issues too. Because you run into people always having concerns with that sort of issue. I know this from my own upbringing. I grew up, we moved around a lot. My mother didn't have a lot of resources. So when there was something that was broken, that was actually against the law at our rental house, right, you can't really do anything, because it's not like a single mom with 3 kids is about to go file a lawsuit and go through all of that. And so we need to make sure that we're actually providing more resources. And that's usually how I address the justice system. Okay.
So, and now, that's the way he stated about how he addressed the justice system and whichever, and I mean, that's fine and well. But of course, later on I had received a letter from his office, saying that he does not deal and involve with anything concerning the federal but mainly in the municipal courts and what have you. But like I said, you know, I feel and believe that also, again, a lot of the stuff that's been done here behind the walls and the color of laws and the courts and things around here, it can and does affect a lot of stuff that can take place out here in our community, especially among us as minorities and things. A lot of us feel that if we're not getting our rights upheld, you know, through the courts, especially when we have to file suits against major corporations that we've been working there all our life almost, and then find out that even your attorney that you had retained it, then collaborated with them to aid in the conspiracy against your rights and stuff. There, I mean, just a lot of bad, corrupt stuff. And then, in this cause action I'm speaking about is with General Mills, because like I said, I'm speaking about my own personal issues and stuff that's taking place and still going on, and you know, and like I said, and like I said, to have a voice to try to be heard, I am totally fully aware of what's going on out here, and they are definitely aware of me out here as well, in and out of the courts, and it's just like the same old scenario, you know, just being denied and deprived. And nevertheless, I still want to bring this here out. And as I stated about a new mayor here, well, you know, I was informed that from his office, as I stated previously, that, you know, he wasn't able to do anything concerning this matter and what have you, and you know, and it just kind of brings to my attention, is almost like as an example, you know, what, and especially we as parents, how would you feel if you, if your child was being bullied, you know, in the school around there by 2 or 3 persons around here, you know, and that child inform and tell the teacher of such, and the teacher's fully aware of it, but act like it's nothing that she can do, goes to the principal, goes to the security, goes to whoever it is, and people's in position to be able to probably do something about something, and it appears that there's nothing that they appear that nothing can be done, or even contact those who can do something about it. What do you do? So any loving parents will be totally outraged. And so my point and what I'm bringing out is that I then inform the judicial court system, I inform the United States Supreme Court, I inform the FBI, and everybody out here knows about it. But nevertheless, it's like, oh well, same old. But nevertheless, even my congressman, Manuel Cleaver, you heard about what I had to unfortunately bring things out, and concerning in this situation of mine, in the case involving, it is so severe that I was just more or less forced to even bring out about legalized slavery, because anytime courts, certain lawyers and judges would turn a deaf ear and a blind eye and go against your civil and constitutional rights, and go against their own oath that they have sworn to uphold civil and constitutional rights and the laws and things and the rights and the goods of the peoples, you know, according to their oath and office and what have you, in order to collaborate with, in this cause of action, is with General Mills, because General Mills have been allowed to use our judicial court system in this cause of action, and all of this is already in the courts and laws and things around there, so they definitely know about it. It's nothing like, oh, well, I'm just slandering and putting stuff out there. Oh, no, they know. And when I say they know, all of them know. And what do? Well, through the grace of God, I encourage anyone to continue to trust the Lord and continue to try to make your voice heard. And this is my point, and still take legal action in this matter. Now, speaking about flyers and things around here, this is also flyers that I have been putting out for a little while. And the courts definitely knows about it, because I done always send something up here to the court, since unfortunately I had to complain against certain lawyers and judges and things that's up there as well, and aiding and bringing this here about. And so what I have right over here, I know you probably can't hardly see this here. Some may be familiar with some of this and some of the flyers and things, and I just want to briefly kind of look at this here. And I also gave this, you know, to a mayor, gave it to everybody out here, because this is basically for the public, for the general public, whoever who's wanting to take time and look at this here matter. And what I have here is Modern Day Legalized Slavery from Personal Experience Behind the Color of Law. You must read, and you have the right to know. What giant General Mills and the court does not want you or the public to know. Strong legal evidence shows that General Mills had been allowed to use the judicial court system in this cause of action to commit blatant crime acts and blatantly deny Robert C. Dupree civil and constitutional rights that is protected by law. Behind the scenes of the courts, the color of law, denied rights to jury trial, deny the right to a juror trial, which is obstruction of justice and fraud on the courts, which severely jeopardize all of our civil and constitutional rights as citizens by this type of hidden Jim Crow conspiracy that condones and promote modern-day slavery. And everyone has a role to speak out against this evil injustice, especially if you're black, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, or peoples of color. Please do not look the other way or take lightly this evil. It puts all of our civil and constitutional and rights in serious and severe judicial jeopardy, that is. And you could be next, if not already. Then I have on here about some of the updates here concerning issues here. And I have here, you can go see part 15 here, what I have over here in 2015, that is, in 2016, the latest with some of the videos and things that's been posted, whatever. And you can visit me on YouTube, Robert Dupree 2, part 53 to 56. And from 2017, now these are the different times when I have been posting some of these things up, keeping the update on it here. And the latest, you can see part 57 to 60. And from 2018, the latest, you can see part 61 to 69. And from the latest here, in 2019, and see part video 70. And now here it is, 2020. So nevertheless, I also got down here, I want to bring out here, and nothing's been done about it. They all are fully aware, including the FBI, the Department of Justice, both in civil and in the criminal division. And also see the website, robertdupree2.com, General Mills Racial Discrimination and Conspiracy. Get the whole story. Please subscribe, like, and forward this information. This must go viral. Okay? And contact me as I have over here. You got rdjr1960@yahoo.com. And then have the other to read the other side. And this here had also been received this year by the U.S. Court of Appeal. They had received this January the 27th, 2020. You may not be able to see that as well, but anyway, they have it right there. It's stated here. So what I'm saying, I'm not just leaving the courts out about the injustice that I have also experienced from them behind the color of law. And unfortunately, when I have over here on the back side of this here Court of Appeal, from what I have here that I sent to them, again, I have over here on the other side here, speaking about attention, public and 5th District Representative. I, Robert C. Dupree, also live in the 5th District. Want to share from personal experience, again, personal experience, what you have the right to know. And unfortunately, again, I'm speaking about the Congressman, Emanuel Cleaver, concerning issues about trying to get him to forward this information to Congress. But for whatever reason, you're not able to do that. So this is what I have here, as I stated here, concerning a Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, 2, and who is our 5th District Representative. And Congress have paved a way for anyone to file a complaint against a federal judge for judicial misconduct. And that law came into effect October 1st, 1980, when President Jimmy Carter has signed it. And Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, 2, is fully aware that I have been white-walled by the system from being able to retain an attorney in or out of state in this cause of action. And however, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, 2, refuses to send undeniable material strong evidence to Congress that strongly support Dupree's allegations against federal judge Gary A. Fenner. The conspiracy of the courts and how Dupree was treated and blatantly denied 14th Amendment rights behind the color of law. And then again, I have here, see YouTube Robert Dupree 2, video 70. and it has 5 videos in it, and it was posted here. This time here is 2019 in this particular video here I was putting out here. And how that I also have here that the federal judge Gary A. Feener is the judge that I, Robert C. Dupree, was forced to file a major complaint against him in 2011. In the Judicial Council of the 8th Circuit, when he presided over, say, the civil lawsuit against General Mills Operation Inc., or Capital Inc., and former attorney Jeffrey A. Sutton, right, and the Burnett Law Firm, and the Union Bakery Confectionery Tobacco Worker and Grain Miller 16G, which all defendants and their attorneys collectively sent false documents and fraudulent documents to the U.S. Court of Appeal for the 8th Circuit, alleging that Dupree's notice of appeal was not timely filed with the U.S. District Court. Then again, I have here, you can go to my YouTube site here and look at this here, YouTube Robert Dupree 2, Part 41. During this particular time, is when Judge Gary Feener was over this here case, and I did appeal this case for closing it, you know, back in for the 2010 case. And then when I appealed this case here, had to go through the United States District Court to do so. Well, General Mills and all of them alleging that I didn't appeal and file in a timely manner. And I had already talked it to the courts and them earlier. Matter of fact, to Judge Gary A. Feener's clerk or secretary or whichever, asking when will I be able to hear from them, because it's been taking a long time before I hear a response from them, and I did not want them to come back talking about I didn't file in a timely manner. And woe and behold, that's exactly what General Mills and all of them did back during this time here in 2010. So this is to go back, there's a history on this here matter. And nevertheless, the courts denied me my rights, and when I had to file a complaint against this Judge Gary A. Feener, definitely dismissed my case and closed it back over here in 2011. So it has a little history here, and amen. And unfortunately, you know, I'm still fighting for, you know, the cause, at least letting this injustice be known. And then down here to finish this here out, and however, the same federal judge, Gary A. Feener, was allowed to preside over a new lawsuit, or civil lawsuit, against Lamar's Advertising, you know, which is a major conflict of interest. And this lawsuit came about against Lamar's Advertising back here in 2015, you know, when they lied, talking about they couldn't find anything on the website that I had put out against General Mills. And it's all about dealing with General Mills, because this is what this mainly whole thing is all about. The injustice and the prejudice and stuff that I had went through with General Mills forever and for years. And when I brought this here out, I was going to have them to post this out, and they had everything already set up and ready to go. And when it come time to do it, well, all of a sudden, I was informed that, well, the information on your website here was not 100% accurate, and there's nothing that we can do about this matter. And this was Lamar's and them and their attorneys and so forth, or, you know, the people's up here in Baton Rouge, you know, the corporate or whichever. So anyway, that resulted in a lawsuit, because they had everything set up, ready to go, and then they lied and alleging that there's nothing that they can do because of such. But nevertheless, as I was stating here, and then I'm going to finish this here out here, and as I stated, they allowed to put this same Judge Gary A. Feener on this new lawsuit, despite the many times that I have already filed a complaint against him back over here in 2010 and 2011. Now when a new lawsuit come about, they're going to allow him to be over on this here. And I said, oh no, that's a major conflict of interest. And despite facts, evidence, laws, and the court's fully aware of this, none of them didn't do anything about retaining or getting him off this case. So this is where we stand at now, and one thing led to another, so they continually got tired of me appealing and making complaints about this judge, Gary A. Feener, retaining and remaining on this case, and he knew he shouldn't be in the courts, and all of them, the chief judges, all of them, all the way up to the Court of Appeal and so forth, even brought it to the United States Supreme Court's attention about the same judge. And same old, been denied continuously, and they have been given their, excuse me, their summary judgment in favor of. And so anyway, the courts closed my case and put a mandate order on it here involving this new lawsuit with corporate Lamar's and them around here over here, because I continuously file a complaint against about having this judge on here. And these are some of the legal documents. Like I say, you probably can't see due to my light glaring, that this here had been appealed up in here, and their reason for closing the case now, even though they never reopened the case. They had my case removed and filed and put up over into the Court of Appeal. And I said, well, I didn't file and go up to the Court of Appeal. Talking about the courts now, and after they didn't close my case here in 2016, which Judge Gary A. Feener was over, which he had no business being over. So they just went on to close the case, and then they appealed it and then give me a new case in a new venue number, talking about, well, now we're going to take an appeal over to the Court of Appeal. I say, well, wait a minute. Y'all never even reopened the case, and I never appealed it. And so their reason for closing it now is because I failed to execute or to pay a filing fee of $505. And I told them, well, I'm not going to pay it because I didn't file this appeal, and y'all appealed a case that y'all never reopened, despite my constantly asking them to put it back where it's supposed to be. So anyways, a lot of conspiracy and injustice. And nevertheless, I just want to still make this known and be heard about the injustice. And so nevertheless, ultimately, you put your faith and trust in the Lord. And like I said, that to the Lord tells me different by whatever means he allow me to be known, to say or to tell, whichever the case may be. Well, I'm going to continue to, just take legal action to make this known, because this type of injustice is not right. And if courts and lawyers and things have been allowed to aid in the conspiracy with corporations and stuff that you have filed suit against, and you have retained an attorney and law firms are supposed to be representing your rights, turning a deaf ear and a blind eye, and aiding in conspiracy with those who you are filing suit against, well, something's wrong with that. But nevertheless, ultimately, put your faith and the trust in the Lord and let the Lord lead you, because that's definitely who I'm trusting. And if God don't do it, well, I guess it just simply won't be done. But nevertheless, until the Lord say different, I will continue to pursue and take legal action in this matter. Thank you.